the shadowy deal that rocketed America to the stars. Imagine this. As the smoke clears from the rubble of World War II, victorious Allied forces uncover a treasure trove of technological horrors. Rockets that rained death from the skies, engineered by brilliant minds sworn to Hitler's regime. But instead of facing justice at Nuremberg, these same minds are whisked away in the dead of night, their Nazi pasts erased like chalk on a blackboard. What if the architect of NASA's greatest triumphs was once complicit in slave labor and mass murder? What secrets did the U.S. government bury to win the Cold War? Buckle up, because Operation Paperclip isn't just history. It's a thriller of espionage, moral compromise, and the high-stakes race that shaped our modern world. The chaos of victory, hunting Nazi brains in the ruins. In the waning days of 1945, as Allied troops stormed into Germany, the war wasn't truly over. It was evolving into something colder, more insidious. The U.S. and Soviet Union, once uneasy allies, now eyed each other as rivals in a new arms race. Buried in Nazi labs and factories were blueprints for jet engines, ballistic missiles, and chemical weapons that could tip the balance of power. American intelligence operatives, under the guise of scientific exploitation, scoured the countryside. They found the Ozenberg list, a Nazi roster of top engineers and scientists, flushed down a toilet at Bonn University, a desperate attempt to hide the Reich's intellectual elite. Picture the scene: U.S. agents racing against Soviet snatch teams, grabbing documents, prototypes, and people. Operation Overcast, as it started, was a frantic grab for German expertise to fuel the war against Japan and bolster post-war defenses. But soon it morphed into something bigger and darker, renamed Operation Paperclip for the innocuous office supplies that flagged the dossiers of the most troublesome recruits, those with blood on their hands. Over 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians were spirited to America between 1945 and 1959, their families in tow, promised new lives in exchange for their forbidden knowledge. Nazi scientists and engineers arriving in the U.S. under Operation Paperclip, ready to trade secrets for sanctuary. The mastermind, Wernher von Braun's double life. At the heart of this shadowy operation stood Wernher von Braun, the golden boy of rocketry, whose genius propelled humanity to the moon. But at what cost? Von Braun wasn't just any scientist. He was an SS major, personally decorated by Hitler for developing the V-2 rocket, the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile. This wonder weapon terrorized London and Antwerp, killing thousands in fiery blasts. But the real horror, its production at Peenemünde and the underground Mittelwerk factory, relied on slave labor from concentration camps like Buchenwald and Mittelbau-Dora. Over 20,000 prisoners perished from starvation, beatings, and exhaustion building von Braun's dreams. Von Braun himself recruited these doomed workers, knowing full well the human toll. Yet when U.S. forces closed in, von Braun orchestrated his own surrender, hiding documents in a mineshaft and offering his team's services to the Americans with a chilling pragmatism. We despise the French. We are mortally afraid of the Soviets. We do not believe the British can afford us. So our only choice is you. 14. Paperclip operatives scrubbed his record, ignoring his Nazi Party membership and SS rank. Relocated to Fort Bliss, Texas, then Huntsville, Alabama, von Braun became NASA's darling, directing the Saturn V rocket that launched Apollo 11. His transformation from war criminal to American hero was complete, or was it? Wernher von Braun in his NASA office, surrounded by models of the rockets that once brought terror to Europe. Beyond von Braun, a web of war criminals. But von Braun was just the tip of the iceberg. Operation Paperclip scooped up a rogues gallery of ex-Nazis, each with their own gruesome baggage. Take Hubertus Strughold, the father of space medicine, who conducted barbaric experiments on Dachau prisoners, freezing them in icy water or subjecting them to vacuum chambers to simulate high-altitude conditions. Or Otto Ambros, convicted at Nuremberg for using slave labor in chemical plants that produced Zyklon B, the gas used in Auschwitz. Despite his crimes against humanity, Ambros was quietly recruited for U.S. chemical weapons research. And then there's Arthur Rudolph, von Braun's right-hand man on the V-2 and later the Saturn V. Rudolph oversaw the Mittelwerk horrors, where hangings were public spectacles to enforce productivity. Deported in the 1980s after his past surfaced, he admitted to the atrocities but claimed he had no choice. These men weren't outliers. Many Paperclip recruits were former SS or SA members, their visas fast-tracked by the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, GOA forged documents to bypass President Truman's ban on active Nazis. The Soviets ran their own version, Operation Paperclip, but the U.S. program was unparalleled in scale and secrecy. If you're hooked on these revelations and want to dive deeper into forgotten histories like this, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, where we unpack more untold stories with exclusive footage and expert breakdowns. A V-2 rocket launching during WWII, a symbol of Nazi ingenuity built on unimaginable suffering. The moral quagmire, gains versus guilt. The payoffs were immense. Paperclip scientists accelerated U.S. rocketry by years, contributing to ICBMs, the space race victory, and even medical advances. Von Braun's team launched Explorer 1, America's first satellite, and paved the way for the moon landing. But the ethical rot festered. Holocaust survivors were denied U.S. entry while their tormentors got citizenship and acclaim. Investigations in the 1970s and 80s, spurred by journalists and declassified files, exposed the cover-ups, leading to deportations and stripped honors. Yet, as one Reddit discussion puts it, it's not like we recruited Joseph Mengele. That's what the Soviets did. Realpolitik won out, national security over justice. Echoes in the stars, a legacy that haunts us. Operation Paperclip propelled America to cosmic heights, but it left a stain on the stars. Today, as we push toward Mars and beyond, questions linger. How many breakthroughs were built on buried atrocities? What other deals lurk in the shadows of power? This isn't ancient history, it's a cautionary tale of ambition's dark side, reminding us that victory often comes with hidden costs. If this story left you on the edge of your seat, craving more explosive investigations into the underbelly of history, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Who knows what secrets we'll unearth next? The truth is out there. Join us to find it.